What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome in to Money Shots, the 3-day-a-week gambling show where we come on here and give you guys picks. Hopefully, they're winners. Occasionally, give you guys a laugh. Maybe a hug, virtual hug. How are we feeling today, Kelly? How are you?
Well, it's raining and my hair went flat, and you just used a nice little play on words. I have a hill to die on right out of the gate. First of all, that is a money gun, and it is shooting money. So I need everybody to get their minds out of the gutter and understand that this show is about taking shots with your money. Sure, is it also a popular pornography term about a woman maybe getting a nice facial? Sure. But guess what? That's not what this show is about.
Well,
The
it
end.
could be if we wanted it to be, but we're not
I
going.
need to get paid a lot more money than Megan, okay? Because let me tell you, that I can't believe I even waste 37 seconds of my life actually having these real life conversations. And I'm not a man, obviously. I mean, maybe people might think that I have some masculine tendencies, but I do not have a dick. So maybe my brain is wired a little bit differently, but I'm looking at this graphic going, in what world is Megan ejaculating on my face? She's not.
Oh, it could be this world if you'd like it, but I'd have to talk to my husband first. Rico, how are we feeling?
Uncomfortable, but fine.
Rico calls HR on us.
No, it's just like what you make the
Okay,
giant.
Rico, you're the man on the panel. I asked this last night. I do a show with a couple of guys that Megan and I are friends with, and I asked, and I will tell you what they each said after the fact. But please explain to me what the graphic looks like to you.
Shooting money.
Okay, that's it.
Right
And
out of
only
the gun.
one guy said that agreed with the troll on Twitter that said it looked like the latter. The other two guys, much more respectful, and I said, "It's not what it looks like. Get your money on the gutter."
They need to go to health class. Like they got to figure things out. Like nothing
But
matching.
also, you have to remember these guys
The
haven't
gun's
seen
up
a
here.
vagina since they came out of their mothers. So please remember that. Like these guys are, not exactly out there slaying puss.
Well, all I'm going to say is if that were to be a penis, I have some extreme buildup and force because that was just straight out of the gun. All right, guys, that's enough. Let's get into actual things that we should be talking about. I know it's not on the list, but did any of y'all play last night? I took the under first half
Good
under
call.
UL. I also did not think UL was going to cover or win that game outright. That was just not something that I saw coming whatsoever. Marshall running back had just been fucking like tearing it up. I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. But yeah, first half under. You didn't play anything last night, Rico?
I had. What did I have last night? Oh, I had Kershaw strikeouts. I didn't play anything in college. No, I've been doing
And I
okay.
did hear that you placed a wager on this team.
Yeah, I was very. Yeah, I mean, quickly, like we don't deep dive into baseball. I just think it's priced incorrectly. Well, not incorrectly, but like, where else are you going to get the Houston Astros at plus 350 in any series, including the World Series? I think against the Dodgers, they're not. Now, again, it's all correlative. Like, I got to win this one, I got to win this one, then I got to win this one. But I don't think at any point you'll ever be staring at Astros plus 350. I'm willing to take those chances. I placed it. I wasn't feeling good, but after game one, and then they won game one, so it was good.
Well, yeah, and then fun fact: Yordan Alvarez became the fourth player in MLB history to walk it off with his team being down. So I think that's really cool for Yordan, the best hitter in baseball. I'm obsessed with him. That's enough baseball, though. Let's go ahead, Kelly. I know you already died on a hill. I really quickly want to die on a hill. I put out my NFL bets like I always do on Thursday mornings, obviously because there's a Thursday night game, so I want my card to look nice and aesthetically pleasing for all you folks out there. I bet against the Saints, and Mincy commented and said, "I thought you were a fan, a real fan." I want to go ahead and die on the hill that you can love a team and fucking bet against them. I bet against the Saints 2 weeks ago. No one said a word. Not a word. Mincy didn't say a word. No one did. But now, I guess maybe because it's the Bengals and everyone's feeling butthurt that I, took the Bengals money line at a good number, that, I'm just this fraudulent Saints fan. First off, I've already stated LSU, Astros, money, Saints. I literally tweeted that. I like the Saints. As I said, Deuce McAllister made me fall in love with football until I realized that there was also college football out there, and that to me, before all this NIL bullshit, was a lot more fun. Had a lot more oomph to it, and it was just something that I love. So I just want to say, yeah, I bet against the Saints. I still love the Saints. I still, wish them the best, but I like the other side this week, and I think that should be okay. That's my hill. I'm done.
Yeah, it's totally okay. The only thing that sucks for you is the Saints is my best bet. So we'll get into that tomorrow when we talk NFL.
I just need the money. The Bengals money line.
Yeah, and I just need the Saints money line.
So
Actually, Saints in the teaser, Saints +2, Saints money line. It's. I love the Saints this week. I love a lot of NFL this week, which we'll get into tomorrow. I don't love college this week.
I don't
been
either.
a really hard week.
I hated college. I have maybe 5 plays right now, and usually, you know me, I have like 11.
I've played two so far, and one I'm head-to-head with Rico, so that's going to make for an interesting show. He called me on Monday.
You're gonna wait. You took Duke?
Yeah.
Okay.
So before we get into that, obviously this weekend is a big college. I don't want to sound like a talking head, but I mean it's a big college football weekend. Like you have
6
Bama, you have Bama headed up to Tennessee to see, who is truly the SEC, the guy on top. Which I don't know. That game to me, I'm not playing it at all. I saw Tennessee at 7.5. Now it's down to 7. Obviously, this is going to be Tennessee's national championship, if you will. So I mean, I can definitely see that the Tennessee pulling an outright win, especially with Hooker wanting to really emphasize his name in that Heisman race. Are either of y'all playing that game? Because I just don't know what to do there.
I'm in a difficult spot where I am going to go against Alabama, and I just always feel like you don't do well in that. But then there is that other side where Saban has struggled on the road. The only one he's covered out of the last 6 on the road was the Arkansas game, which if the kid has any pulse and catches the ball, he gets a first down, maybe they backdoor it. So that would have been 6 in a row on the road for Saban. And, all the angles of the extracurriculars of shit where we think Saban is going to be dialed in. He hates Jimbo Fisher. They look like shit last week. Now granted.
Well, they look like shit because their backup quarterback threw 3 interceptions.
100% granted, but I got it. It's just I don't know. I think the automatic Alabama squareness is maybe coming back to earth. I don't know. I think Tennessee can win the game. I'm not playing it. No, Megan, I'm not playing it. But I think Tennessee's going to win, and I'm always rooting for chaos in the playoff.
No, you got to. Weird. You can't say you're not betting it and then make an egregious statement like Tennessee is going to win. Those things don't go together. You can say I think Tennessee's going to cover, but I'm not betting it. You can't say Tennessee's going to win and then be like, I'm not going to bet it.
No, I said Tennessee. I said Tennessee could win. I mean, I guess that's part
Tennessee
of it.
Tennessee can't win. That's why they're not in my parlay. They cannot
What's
win.
Weird? Here's
Their
what's
defense is trash.
Here's
they
what's
cannot
weird.
Stop a nosebleed.
Tennessee's actually in a better spot if they lose. I don't want to do the whole song and dance with the playoffs, but if you look and they lose a close one to Alabama, it's better if they beat. Oh, no, I shouldn't say that. But if they were only going to lose one, they want to win. If they want to win the conference, they want to win Georgia to get to that championship game. But then there's the flip side where it's actually better if they beat Alabama, lose to Georgia, Bama gets clipped in the championship game to Georgia. They might put Tennessee in as the second team.
Chaos. Absolutely.
So my biggest problem here is this. The look-ahead line back in July, I think that's when we put out our college football numbers for games of the year or however you want to list them, was 14.5. Josh Heupel deserves all the credit in the world. This offense looks great. I think that they looked a little bit better in Baton Rouge than they probably did, right?
Yeah.
Right out of the gate, opening kickoff, disaster strikes for the Tigers, and all hell just broke loose.
My blood's starting to boil again.
Sorry. Okay, so this is my thoughts on this game. Bryce Young, if he plays, this line's going to get bet back up. Right now, it's sitting there as if Bryce Young's not going to play. If Bryce Young's not going to play, I don't want any part of Alabama and a backup quarterback. I'll say that much. I do, however, think he's going to play. Sounds like he's probable as of Thursday at 2:30 Eastern. So my problem is that when you're asking a team like Tennessee to play the mediocre, the Florida, the LSU, sorry, Megan, that middle tier of the SEC, and they're kicking ass. Now we're asking them to step up at home and beat an elite Alabama squad. And I say that only because we know Alabama's in the mix every single year in the playoffs. It doesn't matter. They lose that one game. This could be that game. I just don't think Tennessee's defense is good enough. I think their offense is going to match scores, but I don't think they can stop anybody. I will say this: Josh Heupel, my buddy Joe, put me on this yesterday. 19-2 in the first half as an underdog. 19-2 going back to his days at UCF. That is a really great stat. And a lot of those times at UCF, they were small favorites, whatever. But particularly, even as a favorite in Tennessee, he's done really well in the first half. We saw it with that Florida game, which I'm very happy that defense let up in the second half. So if you like Tennessee, I think +4, +4.5. I have to look at the Barstool Sports book, see what it is currently, is a better bet than taking Tennessee for the game.
All right, let's move on to the next marquee game, if you will, before we start really giving out picks. Because, again, if y'all have picks on these, I'd love to know them. Penn State, Michigan. That's obviously huge, as Rico would say. And I don't really know exactly what to make of this game because, again, before the season started, I wasn't very high on this Penn State team. I wasn't really excited about them. Michigan, I knew, was going to probably be the Michigan they were the year before. It seems like this should, and maybe that's where I'm at. It seems like the number should be this should be a Michigan blowout. But I refuse to bet it. I really feel like it might be a trap.
Rico, you want to go first? This is my best bet this weekend. I've only played 2 college games so far. And this
All right. Yeah. So morally, I'll never bet on State Penn. And I did think they were.
Stop. Now you sound like Megan or Mincy, who's saying Megan can't bet against her team. Morally, none of these coaches were there. None of these players were there.
It's a culture. It's a culture.
It's a lifestyle.
They got the bowl. They got the bowl ban. They got the bowl ban rescinded when I was working with somebody who was from State Penn, like an alum, and they were like celebrating. I'm like, aren't you embarrassed? And the guy was like a manager. I'm like, bro, aren't you embarrassed? Like, don't you have kids? Like, aren't you embarrassed? And he kind of was like, whatever. It's a whole culture. Harbaugh, I do think State Penn would be the right side. But then you start to look. So Michigan's 18-2 in its last 20 games. I believe against, is that actually, no, that's probably bad. Don't take that one. Take this one. Harbaugh, because it doesn't specify. So Harbaugh versus Franklin at home. Blowouts in 2016, 2018, 2020 with a COVID year. And then last year, they were like one play away in coverage from a 28-0 second half in a rout. So Michigan, he's done pretty well, Harbaugh, at home against State Penn. I don't think we know a lot about Michigan. I don't think we know a lot about State Penn. They barely beat Purdue. It's a watch for me. But if I had to, I'd say I think the right side is the 7.
All right, well, this is my best bet. I've only bet 2. I can't find a third dog to save my life. I think can win outright. But I do think Penn State wins this game in Ann Arbor. Megan, I was looking at this because I know that Rico hates Penn State, and I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, God, why do I hate Penn State? Like, what is my beef with this team? And it's probably because every time I bet them as a favorite, I get so frustrated because James Franklin reminds me of Bill Snyder, and I get that PTSD from my childhood and get so pissed off because he plays so conservative. And so I really do believe that if he doesn't play conservative, we do know that Clifford is just fine. He's going to be able to open up this offense. James Franklin, though, as an underdog, Megan, 11-4 in his last 15. Harbaugh has been terrible against ranked opponents. And listen, I'm not going to bag on Michigan for who they've played, right? We know that 3-4 years in advance, these schedules come out. So like Rico said, we don't know what we're getting from Michigan. They haven't played anybody. But the road team is 4-0 against the spread to either cover or win in this series. So I do like this top-ranked rushing defense with Penn State. I think that they're going to be able to make Michigan a little one-dimensional, if you will. Plus, they're off a bye. I feel like this is just so easy.
It seems like a good spot. It seems like a good spot.
I feel like this is so easy to bet Penn State, and that scares me. Of course it does.
I was just about to say that. It's kind of, I feel like anytime I have like just a all
Yeah,
game.
the stars are just like aligning for me to bet Penn State.
Like the Chiefs and
And
Raiders game. I'm like, this status, this stat, this status, this stat. Like I had like a 40 pages of stats that should have like solidified a Chiefs cover, but no, it didn't happen. It's okay. Are either one of you guys on the game tonight? West Virginia. I like West Virginia plus 3.5.
I like West Virginia, but no, I did a small ad with UCF. My first half minus the 11.5. Temple's really bad. I like what UCF does with that running quarterback. He could throw it a little bit too. I just think Temple's bad. I think UCF gets going. I'll lay it first half with them.
Yeah, as I said, I'm on West Virginia plus a 3.5. I do love Baylor and don't like to necessarily bet against them. However, West Virginia has their backs against the wall. I don't want to go 0-3 in Big 12 play. This is a team that I've been finding rhymes and reasons to bet. I love them at home. In the last 5 matches, at whoever was playing at home, 4 out of the 5 covered. So I had a little stumble getting that one out there. But I just think this is a 3-point game either way. And if you're giving me West Virginia at home and I get a hook, again, it feels too easy. It kind of scares me, but we know West Virginia gets rowdy as fuck. So that's
does it though, Megan? I honestly am
Yeah.
concerned. Morgantown, I remember my first time in Morgantown was with Geno Smith. K-State was a 3.5-point underdog and went in there.
Like with them, like you're like arm in arm.
No. You know what he was? Arm in arm with a fucking tarp. It's my favorite Geno meme ever. He's like, gets hit in the face with the tarp and he's pissed off. No, it was great. But now things have kind of really cooled off. But I will say this, Baylor's never won in Morgantown. They played there 5 times since West Virginia's joined the Big 12. I'm with you. I lean Morgantown here. I don't think Neil Brown is a better coach than Dave Aranda. That's my concern. And I have my question marks about JT Daniels. I don't know if I'm going to get involved. If I do, it's going to be like a late, okay, cool, I want to watch this game. Let me throw some shekels on West Virginia. I lean your side here, but Baylor is the better team. They just really
But I
are.
will say too, if you want to think of strength of schedule, West Virginia has the 25th hardest versus Baylor's 64th ranked. So I mean,
Okay.
they're playing better quality opponents, if you will. So that's just to me. Again, this seems like a 3-point game either way, and I feel safe with the hook there. Let's talk about some more big games this weekend or best bets. Kelly, I know you already gave out your Penn State as your favorite play. What is your other play? Because I know you got to figure out a third one, but you got to give us number 2.
God, I hate this play. This makes me want to vomit. Rico calls me on Monday and goes, why is this line? I think he was like at a gas station in New Jersey or something even. He goes, why is this line 6.5? And I said, I got to look into it a little bit more. I think what it is a lot of perception here, right? UNC, we all agreed on, should not have been an underdog in Miami, but they had a couple goal line stands that for once their defense showed up. They're also headed into a bye week next week. So here's this game that means a lot to Duke, right? These teams are 12 miles apart. And if it was a basketball game, all of us would be glued to our televisions. But
two of you. One of us doesn't watch college basketball anymore, but go ahead, continue.
You quit watching college basketball?
Potentially. I don't know if you read the newspapers, but yeah, I don't do no more college basketball.
Would you like to elaborate on that? Because I must have missed that headline.
I'm
too busy reading your blogs about dads being bald. Like everything I see is just like nonsense. Like, here's how you mount a TV on the wall. You should hire a professional. No shit, Rico. You think I'm over here like, oh wait, I am the asshole that was blue tape through my TVs.
You're not doing this to Rico on the show. No.
I just want to get one crazy Rico outburst just one time on this show where we get to go viral because he only does it for everybody else. For us, he's super even keeled. He's got like the best New York accent ever. But everybody else, he just loses his shit on them. Like one day
they push my buttons. You know what? I'll tell you what. Give your Duke analysis. If UNC wins, God willing, responsibly.
I think UNC will probably
get one next week. You'll get one. How about this?
I think those.
You'll get one next week. You'll get one next week. Win or loss. Because if they lose and I lose close, and some idiot dropped a fucking pass, and I want his scholarship taken away and his dorm room to flood responsibly, then yeah, you'll get that moment.
See, this is what I mean. Like, Rico's so me in 2010, like he just hope their dorm room floods. Oh my. Listen, this is not a Duke team that I really want to get behind. But ever since they fired Collins, or since Georgia Tech fired Collins, excuse me, they've been better. So I don't want to say Duke just got their ass kicked by a terrible Georgia Tech team. I think this team's put together 2 really nice wins. 6-13-1 is the favorite in this series. Am I crazy for calling the upset? Probably. I think 7 is too many, though, in a rivalry game, if you will. Maybe the Tar Heels are looking ahead just to coast into that bye week.
See, and again, like, you're smart and I respect all of your opinions, but looking ahead, I don't know. It's a rivalry. Like, granted, it's the second rivalry because college basketball is obviously bigger, but it 8 miles apart. They all know each other, probably played against each other if they're from Carolina, played each other against each other growing up. The thing where I don't think it's a look ahead, Kelly, is who is going to be in the ACC championship game in the coastal side. Who's going to win that? Do you know the 2 teams who are in first and second right now? Carolina and Georgia Tech. Now, Duke's third. So you might have a completely wild card of like, hey, Duke now sees this to jump into first place. But I watched Kansas go up and down the field on Duke. Granted, Duke scored some points against Kansas, but you look at like common opponents, not common opponents, strength of schedule. Duke has not played anybody tough. Carolina's winning these games against tougher teams like Miami. Carolina has played Notre Dame. Yeah, it was a loss, but they went and played Notre Dame. I don't know what Duke can hang their hat on. They just lost to Georgia Tech.
Listen, I'll agree with you that North Carolina's had a really nice bounce back since they lost that Notre Dame game. I agree with you. I know the early money came in on Duke. Now we're seeing some buyback on the other side, maybe some regretful bets, or maybe they wanted to see if they could move the market and get 7.5. That's where that side of things gets really tricky, me trying to guess what the sharp guys are thinking here. So all I can do is bet it with my numbers. I made the game 6.
Yeah, I jumped.
Doesn't really mean a whole lot.
Yeah, anything this big, like I locked it in at 6.5 because I don't want like last week with TCU with the push.
Yeah.
I do, and don't get me wrong, like people are always like, oh, if you buy those numbers every time, you're gonna have in trouble. Don't do that.
Okay, so I got into this with somebody the other day.
Before you
buying numbers, everybody.
Before you go in, I just want to remind everyone to please like and subscribe to the Barstool Sports YouTube page. Make sure you're liking Rico's stuff, my stuff, Kelly's stuff. You're following us on Money Shots. If you can follow Rico, if he's allowing it.
If he's allowing it.
Make sure you're following Kelly and myself. Now, Kelly, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just wanted
I just said, I think we need to stop with this buying points thing. I think the biggest problem is that people don't understand the value of certain numbers. 3 and 7, obviously being very important in college football, and especially the variance here. So don't lay minus 125 to buy a half a point. Just stop with this nonsense. You guys are not going to win long-term doing that. Now, maybe 3.5 to 3 in NFL, we can have a whole different debate here, and we can argue up and down till we're blue in the face. But in college football, there's just it's the same reason why I flipped out about people teasing college football. Just stop it. There is entirely too much variance to be doing that with college kids.
Yeah,
NFL teasers have been trashed this year too, so that's a whole nother argument in itself.
Yeah, I just always see Carolina in control, 2 scores up the whole way, and I go get a back. Now again, not any debate. I'm talking Carolina is up at all points, 2 scores, and I go get backdoored and it turns into a push. It could be way worse to turn into a loser, but I hate being hey, I handicapped this one right. Carolina was the better team. I got screwed on the number. So in rare instances,
you mean my Wazoo bet last week? That one when Lincoln Riley just decided to kick a field goal? And thank God I didn't take Vandy. I was this close to taking Vandy. I may have unfollowed Lane Kiffin on Twitter for that one. I might have just been I never want to speak to you again.
Yeah, he's a spread coach. But in certain instances, I want to get the win more than the loss. So minus 122 at minus 6.5 with the move of the line. That's where I'm at. So I'm willing to do that. I agree with you. It's not a good long-term strategy. To button this kind of all up too, Max 11-0 against Duke straight up.
Love it.
He has definitely owned Duke. These seniors for Duke have never gotten to beat North Carolina.
I thought it was Carolina was you lose Sam Howell, you lose the running backs from 2 years ago.
Do you think this is Max last year?
Yeah, I mean, he's old, but
I
don't know who's running the show, but if he's got, listen, this kid is young, he's great. I would love to keep coaching him. So I don't know.
to button all of this back up, we do have to wrap here relatively soon. So I want to make sure that we all give out, our picks, if you will. Rico, do you want to go ahead and start rolling through some of yours?
Yeah, so my best bet is Duke, which is gonna. Oh, I'm sorry, my best bet is
Whoa,
UNC.
whoa.
Freudian slip.
I'm a Duke fan. Yeah, now Kelly's got me fucked up. My best bet is UNC minus the 6.5. So it's nice to have an organic head-to-head here. Stanford plus 17. I think this is the classic too many points. Stanford's live and they're I know that they're not desperate to do anything in long term, but they're desperate to get a fucking win in the column.
David Shaw. See you later. It's time for him to go.
McKee is really
James
good.
Franklin can both go.
Maybe the kids start playing for transfers, hey, just show out your own highlight tape. I do think Notre Dame's laying too many here. Kansas, Oklahoma over 63. Offenses that will go. Miami in the lowest of buy low spots. For anything that can fix your offense. I said it with UNC 2 weeks ago. I've been right on this UNC team. How do you fix an offense? You go against Virginia Tech and that scumbag Grant Wells, who can't do a fucking thing. Miami minus 7.
I had Virginia Tech on my long list, and I thought if I bet this team, Rico is going to have a fucking conniption.
It's your money, Kelly. Oklahoma State, TCU over 68. I think the Big 12 overs are coming back. And as much as we want to talk about Oklahoma State's front line and front seven, they're sure giving up a lot of points in Big 12 play. Yeah. And TCU gave up a lot of points last week. One of my favorite overs is back. UAB Charlotte over 63. UAB is going to run all over. Charlotte with the kid McReynolds or Reynolds. Chris Reynolds is out of his mind. They're always going to score over. UNC minus 6.5. We touched on San Jose State minus 8 and Wazoo plus 3.5.
Okay, I want to go ahead and ask really quickly. Kelly, do you like anything in that in the Oklahoma-Kansas game? Because I want to know what you think. We watched Bean play a little bit as far as drop off. What do you think do you think that line's right?
I think the line's right now with Bean. I think he's about a 2.5 point drop off without Jalen Daniels. I'm pissed. I wanted to bet Oklahoma at minus 7. I waited too long. It's 9. The line looks right. Plus, I can't trust Oklahoma. I could have trusted him maybe at 7, but now asking them to win by 2 scores is a lot for that defense. I do like Oklahoma State in this one. I think that's too many points. I think it's more of a coin flip scenario. So far, I have bet Duke and Penn State, and I will be on Utah, LSU, and...
Are you worried that LSU went back up to 3?
No.
Okay. Little tidbit for the Utah game. Kelly, have you seen their helmets?
No, I have not, because they don't matter to me.
Okay. It's a double dead teammate game. They're honoring two teammates that died last year, and their faces are on the helmet. If Utah cannot get up for this game and win this one and honor their brothers,
I'm about to go put money on it right now. I love a narrative.
Wow.
Listen, I'm not betting it, but I'm sharing the info.
You just told me on a narrative.
Why wouldn't you bet it? Now you're throwing. So not only is this for them to win the Pac-12, they've got 2 losses.
I'm the fucking hype man. You bet Utah. I'm just coming in here, not giving you USC stats. I'm giving you Utah stats.
I love
What would you rather I have?
Why wouldn't you bet Utah then? If you're here, because I like Utah not only situationally, because they have that terrible loss to UCLA. As I mentioned, USC shouldn't have covered last week. This is a team to punch USC in the mouth and finally slow down that offense. All they've got to do is watch the Oregon State game, and they've got the game plan. Come on, Kyle. I know you've got it in you. Just watch and learn.
I'm going to bet it right now. Thank you, Rico. Thank you for that. I haven't seen the helmets. If I would have seen
that, just solidified it.
I could just see how it is. Megan just calling me Saturday night, being like, "Are you watching this? They fucking stink. Why'd you tell me about the helmets?" I'm like,
"Nah, it'll be fine."
No, I would never do that. I wanted
to bet Illinois in my parlay, but it does sound like DeVito is going to be out. So keep an eye on that if you guys are. Go ahead, Megan.
Oh, no. Also, I think Will Levis is playing because that number went from
Will
7.
Levis is playing. That's why Kentucky didn't make my parlay because the line dropped too much. Will Levis is going to play.
Kentucky at 7, but of course I'm not going to put it out because people are going to say
no, that's a great number. Congratulations.
For it, so it doesn't matter. So right now, I just let everyone else know I'm planning on taking the bait with Michigan State. I don't think that Wisconsin.
I'm with you. They're on my long list.
For anybody. I also like Okie State. I also like, as I said, I'm not on a whole lot. I'm West Virginia tonight. And then I need to go look because I haven't finalized Eastern Michigan. That's another one. Just haven't finalized everything yet. I'm all over the place. But
well, listen. Don't be a sissy here. We got worlds divided with brother and sister. Whose room are you going into to play with the toys? You coming into mine with UNC, or you going to Kelly's for Duke?
oh no,
You
I'm in your room. We're
Oh, I
having,
could have told you that,
we're
Rico.
having a
You
great
think
time.
Megan wants any part of Dookie?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
it's
want
the
any part of
shittiest
you.
bet on the board.
All
I
right.
It looks
literally,
terrible.
whenever you knocked on wood, I knocked on wood. So we are in this. We
No
handshake. We're in this
Switzerland for
together.
you. No Switzerland for
Oh
you.
no, I could have told you that. I would have laid $5 that Megan was going to be on North Carolina. Why would anybody in their right mind want to bet Duke? I don't even want to bet Duke, but I have to.
Carolina blue goes way better for you, Maggie. You look way better in Carolina blue than
Thank
you do
you.
royal
I
blue.
appreciate that. I think that my mom's bedspread was an omen the last week. So we're just gonna keep on riding the Tar Heels. That's it for the show today. Make sure again you're liking and subscribing to the Barstool Sportsbook.
I love how
YouTube
we're just
page.
completely ignoring this trash Thursday night game and just gonna
Oh
just keep
fuck!
on
Thursday night.
rolling.
I
No,
will-
we should just ignore it. It's a trash
It
game.
is. It's
Stop putting
garbage.
your
I
money
took
on
the first
trash
half
games and
under-
trash teams.
First half under 19.5. Anybody else got something?
The field
No.
goes over 3.5. It's plus money again.
Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna have to go take a look at it. Okay, make sure you're liking and subscribing. Make sure you're gonna go ahead and put in bets for tonight, even though it is a trash game. You should still play it. Why not? You got Thursday night football on. You also got postseason baseball starting here soon. Super excited about that. Took Valdez over K's. I'm ready. We'll see you guys tomorrow with Steve and Che. Thank you guys so much for coming, and make sure you're liking, subscribing, and following us all.
I can't.